Hello, my name is Jessica Ward, and today I'm going to be creating a makeup look on my beautiful model that any consumer can do at home, something easy, fun, very summery, flirty. I'm going to be using half drugstore and half prestige, so again, anyone and everyone can use it. So we're gonna go ahead and get right on in. I did, as you can see, already prep the model. I did one side, so we did do all face, so we did moisturize, primer, we did foundation, we did concealer, we did set it underneath with setting powder, we did a little bronze, and we did one brow. So we're gonna go ahead and complete this side. As you can see, it is completely bare, nothing on it. We did moisturize a little bit before, but I'm gonna do a little bit more just so you could see all the steps that I exactly do. So I'm gonna go ahead, I always let the client know that I did just sanitize my hand. So we're gonna do a little bit of moisturizer. I like to do it with my hands, and I like to let the customer see that, see me cleanse and moisturize and sanitize. So I like to do it with my hands just so the customer could feel a little bit of a day spa treatment. Also, sometimes you can ask the customer if they have dry or oily skin. And a lot of times they always want that matte, extra dry look. And I like to always feel with my hand if there's any other drier spots that you might feel and that they might not know. Just so I like to cleanse and moisturize a little bit more than usual. And then we are going to go in right away with a primer. So we're gonna go ahead and use a very hydrating. The look that we are going for is very hydrating, glowy, summertime look. And I'm gonna go ahead and use a clean brush. Again, I will let my customer know ahead of time all my brushes have been clean and sanitized. You can maybe even just do another spray in front of them so they can see. I'm doing very much hydration on this because, again, hydration really benefits anyone from oily to dry skin. Some clients that feel that they have very oily skin tend to shy away from anything hydration. They feel it's gonna make them a little bit more oily, shiny. That is not the case. Sometimes you do have to educate your clients on why it is good to hydrate. Hydration is always good for dry skin, oily skin. Sometimes people with extra oily skin need hydration to help balance that out and they don't know it. So it's really good to give yourself as a artist product knowledge so you can pass it on, and you really want to give the best knowledge to your customer, client, and anyone who walks in your door. That is really important. Again, hydration really benefits everyone from dry to oily skin. And it's really in right now. I mean, everyone going to festivals and living in the desert or vacation time, really important to just hydrate. We're gonna go ahead and go in with my customer had already brought her foundation, so we're gonna go ahead and use the Revlon. I'm gonna go ahead and use a sponge. Again, it is been used because we just did one side of her face. You can use a sponge or a brush. If I'm going for an extra dewy summertime look, I'm gonna use a sponge. I feel like there's nothing nicer than a wet sponge giving you the dewiest look. It really gives the look that I'm going for. I don't really want a super duper full coverage matte look. So again, that's why I'm using the sponge. I am also letting my client know why I'm using the sponge. Of course, I can sell her a brush, but again, I really want a dewy look. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that look. Really, I'm gonna achieve the best look with this sponge. So that's why I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of move the client a little bit here and there. As an artist too, I definitely want to maneuver my client as I need, but do it very gently. So you'll see throughout the video, I will go ahead and slide with my pinky here and there. Put your chin down, there you go. Just so to help guide, you never want to use the claw to guide them, as it's just unprofessional and just not very comfortable for the client. And you just want to make sure that every part that I am like blending, as you could see the line that I had prior, definitely want to blend that in. And so just blend, blend, blend. Not as fast as you can, but you definitely want to keep it in a timely manner. There's no need to take, close your eyes. There's no need to take too much time on one section. So now that we've got the foundation on, we are going to go ahead and move into contour. So what I like to do for contour and sanitizing is an alcohol bottle and spray the tip of it. Didn't mean to get that too much in her. And then with a clean tissue, we're gonna go ahead and just wipe off the very top of it. Of course, things like this you always want to show in front of your customer so that way they can see that you fully sanitize. I do a little bit underneath the lip to give it a pout. I'm going to do a little bit on the side. She doesn't need too much far down. A little bit on the forehead, and then we'll do a little bit on the nose. She has a perfect little pouty nose, so she really doesn't need a lot, but we'll just go ahead and do a little bit. Put your chin back just a little bit, and we'll guide it right a little bit underneath there. So once that is in, again, I do let my customers know that everything has been sanitized. This has already been used, as I just used it on the other side. But I'm going to use a brand new brush. This one is a specific contour brush that's going to like help blend in the product very nicely and seamlessly. Now with contour, it can be tricky. Some people feel like everyone contours, they have to contour. You want to make sure that you are finding the right ways, the right ways to contour best for yourself. So of course, contouring is bringing what maybe is a little bit larger in most areas and bringing it inward. So you don't want to like bring too much attention to it. You want to like bring it down just a little bit. Some people with a little bit of a larger forehead will contour more of the forehead, a larger, maybe longer depth nose. You want to contour the nose a little bit. Underneath, we'll give it a little bit of a shadow for the neck so that way it just looks a little bit more slimming. So of course, contouring is going to be different for everyone. Not everyone should feel the need that they have to contour. Of course, it gives it a very nice chiseled look, but you also want to make it look as natural as possible, if possible. But if you want that extra chiseled Janet Jackson nose, by all means, give yourself that extra chiseled Janet Jackson nose. So we're going to go ahead and go in with concealer and kind of start to brighten up underneath the eye. I'm going to go ahead and use the Tarte Tape Shape. I'm using a brush for this because I like the way a brush gives a look. I think a brush gives it more of a seamless, very airbrushed look. I'm going to go ahead and have you look. There you go. And then I'm going to have, I'm going to remind my client if they could continue to look up as I apply this. I don't like to be too dramatic with the concealer. Some people really like to bring it all the way down, all the way up, and fill it in. I'm, again, going for a very natural, airbrush, soft, very glowy look. I don't need too much concealer. My client doesn't need too much concealer. I'm truly only using what I need, not above and beyond that. That is really important. If you use a lot on yourself, great. Doesn't mean every client is the same. You want to do according to their lifestyle. For one, I can ask her, what is your lifestyle? Do you have 5 minutes to get ready before work, or do you have 35 minutes to get ready for work? If they have 5 minutes to get ready for work, you're not going to give them a full-on beat every day. You want something nice, easy. I feel like a brush is really going to do that. She could blend in how she likes. But again, you want to do everything according to their lifestyle and ask them questions. You want to like fit the customer's needs, which is a really big thing, I think, in customer service. Making a connection with the customer and just fitting their needs. You want to fit their needs. You want to be able to sell them what they're going to love and be happy with at home, so they keep it, so you don't get no returns. After, I'm going to go ahead and blend in the concealer. As you can see, it really gives it a really nice glow. We're going to set it with some setting powder. I have the RCMA, a translucent powder, very light coverage. There are other brands out there that have amazing ones. This one I'm just using again because it's a little bit on the lighter side for me. One trick that I love with powders, it's easy to tap. As you can see, that excess fall is easy to flick. As you can see, if you could see it this way. Very unprofessional. I'm really used to anything that's loose powder to push it in something so that way you get, that's where you maximize the product actually. So you want to put as much product as you can in the brush. So as you go in to apply it, go ahead and look out for me, please. There's no fallout. So as you can see, there is no fallout. I'm getting the product exactly where I need it. I'm going to go in with just a little bit more. And again, you really just want to target where you need the product. Too much product is going to cause fallout. It can get in their nose. If they have allergies, it can get in their eyes. It can get on their clothes. Just a little bit unprofessional. Again, I just push the powder in exactly where I need it. And blend. Now, it is really important too, as well, to set the concealer. Some people don't understand why. Some people prefer not to. They feel like maybe it's a little extra steps than needed, but it is really important. Everyone from any age, from young to mature, have very natural wrinkles underneath the eye. You smile a lot, you laugh a lot, you're gonna definitely have wrinkles right there. So it is really important just throughout the day without setting it, then you can have concealer really build up or kind of crease. Nobody wants that. It is super important, I believe, to really set it with that. Once we are done with that, we're gonna go ahead and start setting the face with powder. I'm gonna go ahead and use a flat brush powder brush for this because to me it really sets in, I'm gonna push it in, it's really gonna set in the foundation. It's gonna set the powder into the foundation and not move it. They do have other powder brushes, a fluffy one. Those are really good for maybe, I feel like a mineral kind of base powder. This one, I love the flat brush. I feel like it's really just gonna get the powder exactly where I need it. I'm gonna hit everywhere minus where I just set the concealer. So I'm gonna hit all the way up here, make sure all the foundation that I had hit is going to be nice and covered. Again, not taking too much time. You really just wanna lay the product on, move on. We're now gonna go into contouring. So I do have this palette that's gonna have some nice contour and blush where we can use 2-in-1. So I'm gonna go ahead and do, again, with any palette, I'm just gonna go ahead and dip it in and push it into the lid part. And I like to start, I'm a bronzer fanatic. I feel like every Southern California girl loves a natural glow. And I do like to start with a matte bronzer. I feel like a matte bronzer is gonna give you really like a natural glow, natural sun-kissed look. My client doesn't need too much on the forehead, but I am gonna hit a little bit as that's where I did contour. So we wanna make sure that we're setting that in too and bringing up that color again a little bit. Go ahead and look towards me just a little bit, go like this. And it's always nice to guide the client on what to do just so they know. Go ahead and let it go, there you go, perfect. I do a little bit underneath the lip. I feel like it gives you really perfect pout and it's gonna make a really big difference when it comes to the lipstick. Go ahead and look forward. Now when it comes to contour, blush, highlight, blending is key there. So we definitely want to make sure that we are blending according. As you can see, her forehead already looks really great with the highlight and contour. There you go. Perfect. And while I still have the same palette, I'm going to use a different angled brush for the blush. Angled brush for the blush. Little rhyme action there. It is really important too, not everyone does blush. Why, I don't know. I think blush really finalizes a look. I think it gives it a really good finish, a beautiful, just little rosy kind of color, especially depending on the colors that the customer likes. Let's see if I can face a little bit more that way. So I'm gonna go back in with my bronzer brush. Just blend it a little bit more up here. Blend, 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 perfect. Perfect, perfect. And then one little trick that I love to do, go ahead and look towards me, and we're gonna give it some hydration spray. One trick, after I go ahead and finish spraying, I use my little bougie fan. We don't like the face too damp. I love a good spray, hydration, get that face nice and settled in. And then I will go in with a highlight. I feel like the highlight really picks up more by doing this, and you'll see why after. As I'm going to use another brush, and I'm going to use this brush because I feel like it really grabs the product and it just sets it on exactly where I need to be. This brush is not too fluffy, not too dense, which you don't want. You want like the perfect amount of bristles so that way it gets that nice glow. Go ahead and look at that glow. Look at that glow. That's what I call my Southern California beach glow. Go ahead and look towards me. We're gonna go ahead and hit a little bit of the Cupid's bow. You could do a little bit of the nose. I'm not gonna do too much as her nose is, again, perfect. Just add a little bit more on this side as I already did. Perfect. Now I don't wanna do too much and I don't wanna overdo it as we just don't wanna do, we don't wanna overpower the cheek or the face with that. Again, I'm doing a soft, natural summertime look. Then we're gonna go in with the brow. Now, as you've seen, I did foundation over it. So one thing that I like to do as well, alcohol with a spoolie for sanitation for one. I like to go ahead and spray. And then I'll go ahead and take off it takes off any residue that we might have had before. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a good wipe down. It's gonna pretty much clean the brow of any foundation, powder, bronzer, anything that we did prior. Completely clean and wipe off the brow. So we can give it like a really clean slate. And then we're gonna go ahead and go in with a brow pencil. Now exactly too with the brow pencil, it is a brand new pencil, I just opened it, but we will go ahead and sanitize that as well in front of the customer so they can see. Give it a good wipe down. And with this brush, on the other side, it actually has a little blending brush. So there's no spoolie on this one. I do have one to use. Go ahead and look towards me. Oh, I didn't even, so let's go ahead and finish this sale. So as we have two, I would like to let the customer know, what did they like that I used already? What do they not like? What would they like to purchase? It's always really important to finish the sale, as you can just then move on and feel comfortable by moving on. If you don't, I like to finish the sale once I'm done with the face, once I'm done with the eyes, once I'm done with the lip. If you finish the sale sometimes too much at the end, then they kind of do feel a little bit overwhelmed. They only want the bare minimum. That's not what we want. Now that I am moving on to the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and start with the center right here. So from here, we're gonna go ahead and make a mark. From the pupil right here, we're gonna make it a mark where the arch should be, and then towards the end right here. My client already has perfect brows. Go ahead and look again towards me. And we're just gonna go ahead and fill in. Again, she already has perfect, nice full brows. And we're just gonna continue to fill. I love to walk the customer through what I'm doing. Fill in the bottom, go to the top, maybe take some product off. Fill in the top if needed. I really try my best not to lay my finger on, as we already have product on the face. Again, brows are such an important part that really help the face look proportioned, and I think there's nothing beautiful and balanced than having that. So then we're gonna go ahead and clean up the brow a little bit. Go ahead and face forward so they can see your lovely brow. We're gonna go ahead and do a little concealer on a flat brush. Back towards me, like that. And we'll just go ahead and So it is really important too to clean up underneath and sometimes above, just to make sure that brow is nice and poppin'. And that is what Anastasia is known for, a poppin' brow. So we want to make sure we are just cleaning up what we need. She can have a full face of just foundation, concealer, highlight, contour, and a brow, and she's going to be jamming. Truly, she won't even need any eyeshadow, but we're going to give her eyeshadow. We're also going to go ahead and finish it off with a brow gel. My client has thicker hair too, so it's really going to hold all the hairs together, which is really nice. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead and move on. And we are going to start the eyes. So we will go ahead and start with our eyeshadow primer. It is really important too also for primer. And as we would prime the face, prime the lips, prime everything, it is so important for the eyeshadow primer. It's really gonna, go ahead and keep just face towards me. It's really gonna lock in the colors. It's more colors too. It's really gonna bring out true definition to the colors and just keep it on longer. We're gonna go ahead and use my Modern Renaissance. As you can see, this has been through some stuff, one of my favorite palettes. Boom, I think this is a beautiful, very summertime look. So what I do want to start with is we're gonna go ahead and go in with, let's start with, we're gonna go in with a Red Orchid. So we're gonna see, as you can see, that's one of my favorite colors. Again, with palettes, I'm not gonna go ahead and fling off. As you can see, the back is so dusty from this. So we're just gonna go ahead and just kind of dust it there. I'm gonna lay my palette right there, actually. Perfect. And we're just gonna go ahead and hit this in the crease. And it is important too, as an artist, to whistle while we work. I'm gonna go ahead and be telling the customer what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how I'm doing it. So that way the customer feels very secure at home to do the same. These colors are just so pigmented and rich pigmented. I mean, what else can I say? I love it so much. This color is not, I try to stay away too much from neutrals. I feel like everyone can use a little bit of color in their life, and this color for one is just so beautiful and I love it. And this will give her a really perfect summertime look. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna go in with an even fluffier brush and hit with the raw sienna, one of my other favorites, and just kind of blend that out and blend it up a little bit. So we're just gonna really hit it up top, closer to the brow bone. Boom, going to face forward. Then we're gonna go in with Vermeer, a nice shimmery shade. And what I'm gonna do with that one first is I'm actually going to spray it with my hydration spray. And spraying it before hitting a shimmery shade is really gonna bring out true colors to that. So you could even see, like on my brush, all that pigment there. You could see all this color that it is giving me already. Very pretty. And just hitting the top of it too. Then I'm gonna go back in, not black in. And we're just gonna go ahead and blend up here so there's no harsh lines. Very nice. It can be too, for some artists, tricky to really face forward and do makeup at the same time, but it is really important to give the audience more of me than my back, which I try really hard not to do, as you can see. Now we're gonna go in with some liner, as this color payoff had already given me more. Go ahead and put your head back just a little bit. I'm gonna have you face just a little bit towards me, there you go. Again, I'm just guiding my client nicely on where to go and what to do, as I don't want to maneuver her too much and be uncomfortable. Just kind of lightly show them. And my customer has a perfect eyelid for a nice small wing. I'm not going to do too dramatic or big, but a very nice small wing. Go ahead and open a little bit. There, okay, close. I'm definitely always want them to open just a second so I could see where it's going to be at, and then I want them to close right away to let the eyeliner dry a little bit. Let me move this, and I'm actually going to come on this side. Perfect. Now this side can always be a little bit tricky too, as obviously I'm right-handed, so the other side is more of my forte, but with some practice, we can always master the other side quickly too. Now once this sets in, this is the time I probably try not to do too much talking. I like to concentrate and make sure I get a good line. Sometimes too, if you tend to talk too much to the customer, they tend to blink more, fidget more, and maybe even open their eyes, and that's not what we want. I'm gonna come back this way so you can see me. Go ahead and face a little towards me. Perfect. Okay, so go ahead and keep your eyes closed for just another second to let that dry off. Then we are going to go in with some mascara, one of my favorites from L'Oreal. And I don't like to use the same spoolie on obviously myself or the client or anyone else, so I do use an additional clean spoolie. And we'll go ahead and add some mascara. Go ahead and open, look down on my hands out. Perfect. I do at this point love to lift up the eyes just a little bit. I definitely don't want to get any mascara underneath, or have her blink and have it come on the bottom. Go ahead and look up. Perfect. And I want to make sure I'm getting every hair as good as possible. Lathered in mascara, we want to volumize these lashes. Perfect. And lastly, really quick, we are going to go ahead and add a little bit of the red orchid color. And we're going to go ahead and hit underneath the eye. Go ahead and look up. Now, one thing I don't like underneath the eye is swiping back and forth. It can be very sensitive down there, so I really like to just pat in the color in a patting motion. And again, just making sure that you're always patting it up here. We don't want any fallout. My client does wear contacts, so we want to make sure that we're just being mindful of that. Even if she didn't wear contacts, again, just being mindful of any fallout that can get in their eye. Go ahead, perfect. And again, just really dabbing in, no swiping back and forth motion. It just gives the look a little bit of a nicer finish. And then with the brush that I used to blend the top part, we're gonna go back in with the raw sienna. Okay. And just kind of blending that bottom portion out. Face a little more this way, perfect. Blending out. Are you doing okay? Is there any fallout? Okay. Just like to confirm with my client that she is doing okay. And then we're gonna go ahead and look at her glow. I mean, I know I said kind of soft, it looks a little harsh. We're gonna do a new spoolie and go in so we could do some mascara on the bottom. We're gonna hit the lips and then we are gonna be done. So let's go ahead and look up really quick for me. Perfect. Go ahead and look up, perfect. Perfect. And lastly, we are going to go in with some of my favorite trio. We are going to go ahead and go in with a nude liner. Now, let's sanitize really quick. Spray. Sanitation is very important for everyone. In this industry of cosmetics, people use everything and anything, and we just want to make sure that we are sanitizing accordingly, as it is just, gosh, so big. I mean, you don't know what, others may have, or if kids touched it where their hands were at prior. Sanitation is huge. And really go ahead and go like this. Stretch out the lip. There you go. Sanitation is just really big. For that reason, go ahead and let go. Okay. There you go. Sanitation is just big for that reason. Again, you just never know where anyone's hands have been or at. Lipstick, spray. Give it a good wipe off. Open for me. Don't be afraid to ask the client to do things that, will just make it a little bit easier. I asked her to open up. Go ahead and blend together. Perfect, not too much, thank you. And then we will go ahead and top it off. You always want to complete the look. We're gonna prime the look, we're gonna set the look, we're gonna fill the look. Same with the lips. We're gonna line the lips, we're gonna apply the lipstick, we're gonna add some gloss. So this one, I will go ahead and use a lip brush just so we can add some gloss on top. Again, it's just good for sanitation. We're not going to double dip either. I got plenty of lip gloss on this brush too, which is really nice. Paddle just a little bit, Thank you. And this is my final look. Now, again, I want to thank everyone for watching. I will go ahead and zoom in a little bit closer. We'll go ahead and take the pictures after. Turn to the side, other side. Perfect. As you can see, I do have my product down here, little ring light. But thank you guys so much, and I truly hope that you learned, if anything, how to do and recreate this look at home. Thank you.